All right, welcome everyone. I will call us to order the regular meeting of the Glenn County Board of Assessors on this February 20th, 2025. It is 4 o'clock. I will declare that we have a quorum of 5 assessors present today. Our first order of business is the approval of the minutes of our past meeting from January 16th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 16th.
All right, do I have a second?
I got it already.
Okay.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Are there any comments, changes, or corrections that anyone has? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, we'll move on to Chief Appraiser matters.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ron Glisson, Chief Appraiser with the Glenn County Property Appraisal Office. So today, item number one is by law, we're supposed to bring y'all the beginning 2025 sales ratio analysis to see where our starting point is, and then leading into the digest, we'll bring y'all the final report, the final numbers. If you look in the left side of your packet, just go over a few of these numbers. District 1, which is the city of Brunswick, they had, for calendar year 24, they had 206 sales, and our beginning median level ratio is 78.975. And the COD is the mean COD 78.16, and the PRD, which is a measure of assessment bias, is inflated at 1.55. So those will be the numbers that we work towards to get within the mandated stats. Item 2, this is the TAD district within the city. As you know, the TAD district is a district that you take the increased valuations and the increased tax amounts, and you have to reinvest them within that district only. So you can't go outside of that to bring the corridor. Primarily, it's Newcastle and Gloucester corridor, and so as there's growth, you take that investment and you keep reinvesting it into that particular corridor. So, but there we're starting with a median ratio of 45.16. So in theory, that's basically 50%, a little worse than 50% below market as a starting point. So that definitely needs some eyes within that district. District 2, which is the outskirts of the mainland. That's we had 5 total sales, and that median ratio is 89.47, pretty almost within the statistical guidelines mandated by the state there. And so District 3 is we had 1,004 sales, and we are currently sitting at 81.67%. So that's something that's definitely going to be addressed for the 2025 digest. District 4, which is St. Simons Island, 784 total sales within calendar year 2024. And we've got a median level 79.05%. So in theory, we're about 20% on St. Simons. We're about 20% below market across the board based on the sales data as compared to the 24 digest numbers. So that's something that some appreciation level going on there as well. District 5, Sea Island, we had 36 total sales, and we were at 61.9%. So again, we're about 39% below the 100% fair market value. So we've already started working in that area too, have some work to do in that area to get the statistics in line as well. And lastly, the Jekyll Island District, District 6, had 34 total sales, and they're sitting at 80.42%, again about 20% below the 100% fair market value. So these are the beginning stats, which will bring to you the final stats. But we've got to fall in line with anywhere from 0.9 to 1.10. 90% to 110% is the state's acceptable range. So, and the coefficient of dispersion, which is typically for residential property, you need to be at 15 or below. And the non-residential, the state allows you with a little higher variance. They allow you at 20 or below on that. And also the price-related differential, which is a measure of assessment bias, how you treat low-end properties to high-end properties and vice versa. 0.95 to 1.10 is the acceptable range for the state. So we intend to get in line with all of those, but we'll bring those to y'all in about 2 months. We'll have that information to you.
Can you explain to me, so, I mean, obviously, you said these numbers are better than they were last year.
Yeah.
But what do you have to do to bring these up to be in the ratios that are necessary for auditing purposes?
Yeah, so what we do is we look at the sales data. First off, we want to verify that the sales are correct, square footage, all of that. But we want to take the sales data and we want to apply that information uniformly to the unsold properties. And so that way, the sales take such a premium that you want to make sure what you're applying to the unsold properties is correct. That's why you want to review your sales at the beginning of the year. And so that is, and we go by neighborhood, and we just take that sales data and we try to apply it uniformly to the unsold properties. So it gets a little bit tricky when you don't have a lot of data, but by law, you could have properties rising around you. You could have a neighborhood that has actually 0 sales, but you can use like neighborhoods percentage increases to apply to that property, to that neighborhood as well. So a lot of these you'll see limited data, and we also there's a way to get around that as well. But we do the best with more information, and so obviously neighborhoods that have a lot of data, we're going to typically do a better job with that. So,
well, that's interesting because District 2, you had 5 sales, and that's actually your best ratio.
Yeah. And so, again, District 2 is kind of a hodgepodge. You need to take a look at those 5 sales, but it's such a limited number of sales, it makes the reval even that much challenging. So, but the state allows you to do revals with 0 sales, because you can use information from like properties to compare. So, and that's what we typically do. We generally spend mid-February. We start our reval. We're finished with growth. As we sit here today, the growth aspect of the digest is complete. So we started revaluation. We'll run that to, revaluation will run to, the system will be shut down May 5th. So we'll enter information all the way to May 5th. And again, this year, because of House Bill 581, we've had to make some changes, which I'll speak on in a second. Because we're in uncharted territory, we really want to make sure that we're ahead of everything. But as you know, based on our previous meeting, we want to have all of the data, the growth and inflation reports, to the city, the school board, and the county. Then in turn, they have to give us rollback rates per the revised assessment notice based on House Bill 581. Then we take those rollback rates this year. There won't be an estimation of taxes as we spoke last meeting, but what'll happen is the rollback rates will get them from the 3 entities, the levying authorities, the city, school board, and the county, and then they have to give us the rollback rate. It's an estimation based on the growth in inflation, and make sure that they don't go below, because if they go below their estimate, then there is a provision that says when the tax bills are sent out, there's going to be a sheet that says whether, just say the school board has erred in their rollback rate and it comes in less, then there'll be really public scrutiny, essentially, is what that'll bring. But I think each one obviously estimate 10% premium from that, and I think you'll be out of harm's way. It's be clear and concise on that aspect of it. But also our goal this year for growth and inflation, because of having to get the estimated rollback, we're going to shoot for April 1st. And so we've took a premium in our office to get all the data in the system to date, which is where we're at now. We've caught up with the data, and now as we bring forward the revaluation of each neighborhood, this new system, it's easier to enter that data. We don't have to go into each individual parcel. You can do it across the board. So it saves a lot of time and effort. And then we're putting a premium on the checks and balances, our logic edits this year. We're putting a premium on that because, again, uncharted territory. We want to make sure that we get a little head start and do as much quality control as possible for that. So I think we're really ahead of the game so far. Everything's been going well. There's been a few hiccups with the data between our office and the tax commissioner's office, but I think we've resolved those issues, and going forward, learn from them and try to do better with it going forward. So a couple other dates too. I would like a couple of requests based on the changes to 581. A couple reschedules, if asked the chairman. April 17th is our next scheduled. Let's see, this is the meeting in April is the 17th. We would ask that the board would allow us to meet on April 10th because there's a conflict in this room. And then also we would like to change May 22nd's meeting from that date to May 8th, which will coincide with getting the information out and allow us to get the assessment notices out about 10 days earlier than what was originally anticipated. So if y'all could maybe
Well, we'll bring that to a vote.
Yeah.
I don't want to get away from the sales
Yeah.
ratio report
Yeah.
just yet. I want to make sure that everybody has a firm understanding. I'd go back to the TAD district. I mean, it's obviously the one that's most, I guess, out of whack, for lack of a better word.
No question. No question.
I mean, is that just basically a sign of that area doing very well, and we've got to catch it up?
Yeah, I think if you've looked at the corridors, Gloucester, Newcastle, and the city of Brunswick, it's been explosive growth. But I think it has more to do with it. It was, again, several years ago, the city, of course, we learned this today in a 4-year period. It looked like, based on conversation with the city manager, there's been a 64% increase in the last 4 years as far as appreciation, and which is very positive. But I think also those corridors, with all the money being pumped in, the values have really increased through those major thoroughfares within the city, which is good news to them, because we can put several set of eyes on this TAD district and really get out there and put the values where they need to be, which will ultimately help inject some capital within those corridors as well to upgrade the infrastructure or whatever the case may be as the city sees fit.
So you would anticipate, when you bring these numbers back to us, that the 3,607,000 would be closer to the 8.457 million in the future?
Without it,
Okay.
it'll be an acceptable range above 90%, which is the state's
Okay.
mandated numbers.
So it's basically the TAD district. I mean, it doesn't have any impact on these numbers. Should be reflecting the same type numbers of the rest of the districts.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All the various criteria. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, our target date now, I think, is May 16th. I think that's going to be our current target date for assessment notices. And we expect a lot of calls just because the estimation of taxes isn't on there, so people may, we expect a pretty good call volume. But things are going well. We've got True Roll going with homesteads. Homesteads are extremely busy. We stay pretty much all day long. We've got generally 3 people up there rotating, and I tell you, I've gotten so many positive comments about customer service. I've gotten 3 this week alone that people take the time out to say, hey, what a great job your staff's doing. So pretty excited about that, because I'm sure it's not easy sitting up there all day, just constant barrage of folks coming in, with questions and concerns. And each scenario is unique in a lot of ways. So kudos to that group and under Nikki's group, and doing an outstanding job on that. So really appreciate it.
Does anyone else have anything regarding the sales ratio report? All right, move forward.
So, item number 2, turn it over to Nikki Gibson. She's going to be.
Before you do that, let's
Yeah.
have a vote on the meeting. Well, we don't really need a vote. I would just ask, does anyone have any issues with moving April and May meetings to 4:10 and 5:8 at this point?
No issues for me.
No vacations or anything like that? I don't go on vacation, so it's obviously not for me. So I would just go ahead and say that we will move those, like I said, hearing none, I'll go ahead and say we just move those to those
Okay.
dates.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Any other questions as far as the ratios are concerned, or anything else? All right. Well, with that, I'll turn it over to Nikki Gibson, who is number 3 in a series of management team duties and responsibilities. Thank y'all.
Good afternoon. My name is Nikki Gibson, Deputy Chief Appraiser of the Business Personal Property Department, a native of Heflin, Alabama, a little town between Birmingham, Alabama, and Atlanta, Georgia. So don't hate me when I say Roll Tide. I have been with Glenn County for 23 years. I was hired in the Customer Service Department part-time and later hired full-time under Steve Schaffner's leadership. My duties as a Deputy Chief Supervisor include supervising our Customer Service Department, appraising, assessing, and recording property values, providing customer service, resolving disputes, and auditing all business, marine, and aircraft accounts. I am also responsible for motor vehicle appeals and public utility billing, providing the City of Brunswick with information on city business, marine, and aircraft accounts, and performing additional tasks as assigned. I manage a great staff of 6 people. I am responsible for the Personal Property Digest and the Mobile Home Digest, 2 entities that generate revenue for Glenn County. I attend conferences, seminars, and continued education courses as required. My mission is to assess and appraise property in a fair and equitable manner that complies with the Georgia law. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. So, I think personal property is one of the more challenging aspects of this, so I really do appreciate what you and your staff do. To me, it's a lot more gray area involved in personal property, so it's a challenge. So we appreciate exactly what you guys do. So, is there anything else that you have today?
That's cool. Nothing else.
That'll be complete. All right. We have the consent agenda. One item, and I guess it's the first item I'm going to request. Let me make sure it's the first one. Item 51 is the one that's listed here. I'm going to ask that it be pulled from the consent agenda in your packet, and then everything else I'm okay with. Does anyone else have anything to pull?
I have a question about 48.
48, all right, so we can pull 48. Anything else? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda minus items 48 and 51?
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda minus items 48 and 51.
All right.
I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second. I forgot to mention something earlier that I have been requested to ask that we raise our hands when we vote because some people can't always tell who's voting for what. So I will ask everyone to say aye and raise their hand. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, that is approved. Ms. Miller, I will let you go first on item number 48.
Item number 48, I just have a question, I'm not understanding. Okay, which one is this? I'm not understanding, when I look up that parcel on the map, I see this huge parcel of the whole area apparently. It's not, I don't see where any common area is designated.
My name is Sean Chapman. I'm a real property supervisor. Actually, it's a condo. It is a condo unit. And what happened on that parcel? Richard Wood, after some research, during the rollover, the clubhouse and the pool and all that got put back on that common area during the year. And of course, the pool and the clubhouse and all that is the common area, so it doesn't carry a value, and it shouldn't have had a value, but. On GIS, I think the mapping is the one parcel that is the common area. That's all it shows. It doesn't show the individual units. And I think during the rollover, somehow the pool and clubhouse got put back on as taxable, and it shouldn't have.
So this common area is 9.83 acres and it looks like it has 7 buildings on it.
Well,
those are the
they're
condos.
individual units. They're individual condo units, and they're all taxed individually, but they don't show up on the GIS mapping.
So it's the entire parcel, it's kind of misleading because it's the entire parcel is almost 10 acres.
Right.
All the condo units and the other buildings.
Yeah, and that's, I think what is being said here is, so the individual units for a condo, you really don't carry a site value for that. And so the common area is going to be the ground that is shared by all those individual units. Correct me if I'm
Yes,
wrong.
that's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's generally you're gonna find that on most condo associations, the way
Like
it's
that,
set.
I'm an appraiser.
Okay, yeah, so, all right, anything else?
That was it. Thank you.
All right, and then on item 51, you have something in front of you that shows a plat. And Jamie, I can let you explain, but this is common area around the cloister cottages, which are townhouses on Sea Island, but there is some common area, and I see now where it's listed on as the owner of record on this document. It says Exclusive Resorts SI1 LLC, and that's where I was picking up that name from is here. So I'll let you explain what happened here. And so.
There's four common parcels at this these townhouses, and 3 of them already had a 0 value. 1 was carrying a value. Their attorney contacted, let us know it was common area like the others, and it's even in the name of the association. So all we're asking is, or recommending, is that the value be moved to 0 like the other common areas.
And my confusion was, it looks like it's really kind of outside, and it showed, Sea Island Company, which is now held in several different LLCs, one of them being Exclusive Resorts. And so I was confused as to why it would be considered common area when it's not held by the homeowners association, which there is a deed now that has transferred that to the HOA, and therefore I wanted to make sure everybody was clear on that, because that is a significant number as well. And so anyway, I wanted
This
everybody.
happened in December.
November, I believe
Yep.
it was,
Okay.
November.
Yep.
So,
That would be last year.
right. And this is for, this says 2021 on the year. Should that be corrected to 2024?
It was already corrected for 2024.
Okay,
It-
so this is going
Yeah,
back.
this was going back. When we originally corrected it, they requested the 3 years, and I omitted 2021.
Okay,
So they requested it in a timely manner, and he came back to me in January saying they didn't get it for that 1 year.
okay,
So
okay.
bring it back.
All right. Does anyone else have any other questions regarding those two items?
So how many years was that one? Were they
It was
asking
for
it?
2024, 23, 22, and 21.
Why do they get 3?
You-
2 plus
We were able
1?
to correct it before
Oh,
bills
I got you.
Yeah, it
for,
was-
for 24, which was the current year.
Gotcha.
So they were due 3 years of refund.
We took it back to the original date that of the request came in, which
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
3 years from that point.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why, yeah.
All right, well, do I have a motion to approve items 48 and 51 of residential properties? Corrections.
I'll make a motion. I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye and raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that is passed. All right, moving on. We now have old business, and Ms. Miller, we're keeping live stream on the agenda for you. So,
Okay, well, I'm going to request you to take it off of the old business agenda until further notice. And I wrote a little statement, so I'm going to read it so I won't forget what I wanted to say. I asked for information to present my issue on this 2 times, did not receive it. I did ask to have the property changes as they're presented to us, with just the information that we get presented to us, put up on the screens for the public to be able to see what we're voting on. I was assured this will start as soon as IT is ready with it. And I will continue to pursue this on my own and bring it to the board as soon as I have answers to my questions.
okay. Well, thank you. Where do we, I mean, the agenda is now available online, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So, I mean, I guess what we're looking at is available online. I guess when we have handouts like, that are presented, they would not be. But we can certainly look into doing that in the future. But, so you would prefer that when we're talking about an item that it be displayed on the screens? Is that what you're?
Prefer that the consent agenda items are put on the screen at every meeting. All of them.
Okay. I don't mind looking into that.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, if that's what your preference is, I don't have a problem with that. Does anyone else have a problem with that being presented? Again, I mean, we will make it available online so they can see it.
But this is a live meeting, and
I understand. I
rather they
understand.
see, I've been to commissioners' meetings, you can see what they're talking about as they're talking about it.
Okay.
I think that's very helpful to the public to put those things together as they're listening.
Okay. Okay. Don't have a problem with that whatsoever. We can definitely look into doing some type of visual aid to help everyone better understand. So, anyway, anybody have any questions or concerns? All right, and so you're saying take this off until further notice from you?
Until I get some answers to my questions,
Okay,
I'll just do it on my own. I can dig up the things I need.
okay, okay. All right, moving forward, we have chairman, board member items, and new business. Does anyone have anything to bring forth today? I have something. I would like to just kind of inform everyone that Ron and I have been meeting with both county and city officials. We met with the city today regarding House Bill 581. We're still trying to feel our way through as to what changes we can expect and different aspects of it. I know the county and the city and the school board are in the process of trying to make a decision by March 1st. And that's when you either have to opt in or opt out. Opting in doesn't require that you do anything. Opting out requires you to have, public hearings regarding the issue. And just so everyone remembers, House Bill 581 is the creation of a new homestead exemption for municipalities that currently don't have the exemption in place, like at Scarlett Williams. And so I know the Brunswick is looking at doing their own legislation, but potentially just going ahead and opting in to House Bill 581, which was pretty overwhelmingly approved by the voters in Glenn County and Georgia as a whole. So that is not necessarily the case. I mean, there was an article in the Brunswick News that indicated that there were several counties that were choosing probably to opt out at this point because of the loss of revenue, and they didn't want to have to go to the I guess having a FLOST, which is a floating local option sales tax referendum, and so they just were choosing to opt out of the homestead exemption and keep things going as they have been in recent years. Anything to add to that?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay. All right. So I will continue to try to keep everybody up to date on that. I can tell you that you can ask the same question of 3 people from Atlanta to Glenn County, and you're probably going to get 3 different answers. So it's been a little bit frustrating at times, but we are working our way through it. All right. Does anyone have a need for an executive session? Hearing none, I'll bring us to the best part of the meeting. I will declare us adjourned.